What are some of David Peterson's favorite moments so far in 2024?
Sevy's shutout is definitely up there. To watch him do that just with some of the stuff in the past and to be able to see him have the year that he's had and be the guy that he's been for us has been really special. And so I think, we've, as a group, have felt that coming. We necessarily didn't know who it was going to be. I think it could have been any of the guys, but just to watch him go out there and dominate the way he did and the emotion that came out of him, you could see how special it was for him. Having Lindor reach 25-25, to be able to see a teammate do something for the first time in history is very special. I think there's been a couple where I've been put in a spot, at the end of the series where we need a win and being able to go out there and contribute to a team win to capture a sweep or capture a series, whatever it is, was awesome. So, I think moving up beyond regular rest in Arizona, especially after the way the night unfolded on us the night before, I think that was a big game for us in terms of, okay, how are we going to show up the next day? And I had no doubt that the guys were going to come back hungry and wanted to get a win after the way that game got away from us. So that was a special one to be a part of, just to take that series and move on.
Hey, thanks for meeting us at the Apple. I'm Vito Calisi. That's Jonathan Barron. And we're here with David Peterson, the birthday boy himself. 11 strikeouts, career high on your birthday versus the Red Sox. Just what's going through your veins that day?
Yeah, I try to just treat it like a normal start. I don't necessarily like to make too much of my birthday, so getting the wishes from my teammates and family and friends and all that was nice. But it was kind of cool to pitch on my birthday, and I think it's the first time I've done that. So it was a good win and definitely a good performance to have on my birthday.
It was probably the best start of your career, I'd say. 11 strikeouts, career high. Did you know, first of all, that you set a Mets record for the most strikeouts by a pitcher on his birthday?
I did. I was told that after the game. I saw during the game on the board, it was like I tied the record or whatever on a birthday, and then I was told after the game kind of some of the underlying birthday stats or whatever.
There are a lot of them. We won't get too bogged down in the stats. By the way, I appreciate you watching the board. That's good stuff. A lot of good info on that scoreboard, right?
Yeah, the scoreboard guy is cool. A little annoying, full of himself sometimes, but
It happens. Anyway, it seemed like you had a different approach against the Red Sox. A lot of high fastballs, and you were blowing that thing by a lot of guys. It was actually, you had the highest whiff rate with the four-seamer. In a single start, I promised you we wouldn't get too bogged down in stats, and here we go, getting bogged down in stats. By any starter this year, 14 whiffs, 20 swings against the pitch. What made your four-seamer so effective against the Red Sox?
Yeah, I felt like in my pregame reports and talking with Hef and Alvy, I thought it was going to be something that we could use against them. As the game went along and we had some success with it, I felt like there was an opportunity to be able to put guys away at the top of the zone, and we did that, and then we're able to use it with some of the off-speed stuff as well. So it was good to see that out of that pitch, and definitely gives me confidence going forward just to have all 5 weapons and be able to use whatever I need.
Now, another first for you in your career is you finally got to start in Colorado, where you grew up. What was that experience like? We saw the article a few days before that it's something you had always been looking forward to, but then to actually go out there, do it, and have an incredible start.
Yeah, it was something that I had obviously marked on the calendar every year, and first couple of years I had missed it by a day or two on one side, and so to finally start there professionally, and it was fun to get the win, get out of there with the series, and then just having friends and family there and being able to have that support in person and knowing that they're in the building and being able to see them afterwards was awesome.
And no snow delay this year, like we've had the
It was August.
But the last few years, it's just been they've been there in like April or May, and there's just been like a doubleheader because of it.
Yeah, no, I felt like they kind of caught on. We had one of my first years we went in April and it snowed, and then they pushed it back to May and it snowed again, and so I think they tried to avoid it with just throwing in August. And if we would have got snow, I don't know what we could have done.
What's the latest you've seen snow in Colorado growing up there? Like June, is it snow?
I can't remember June. I would say sometime in May.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happened.
Yeah, I mean, June would be pretty nuts. But anyway, That was an exciting moment for you this season. Another one was the start against the Yankees. That first inning, bases loaded, no outs. You get out of it, and that really kind of set the tone, I think, for the series. The Mets go on to take those 2, and then the 2 in the Bronx. Can you walk us through that top of the first inning? For me, and I know Vito, a really exciting moment. You getting out of that, it just got the whole place hype, and we know how it all wound up coming to fruition.
Yeah, obviously not how I would draw it up for my first inning against them. They were playing really well at the time, and so yeah, I think it was just trying to get out of that, limit the damage, and then being able to kind of get myself in the feel of the game and keep going was great. So yeah, I think it was just something where we needed to get out of it. And like you said, I felt the energy from the stadium, and once we were able to get out of that and get the guys in the dugout to go hit.
So the Mets this year are pretty, I would say, borderline unbeatable when you're on the mound. They're 14-3. Is there a certain sense of pride that comes knowing that, and also just especially like during a playoff push that the team plays so well around you?
Yeah, it's obvious. That's the goal. Is every time I go out, every time I take the ball, give the team a chance to win, and it's been nice that we've been fortunate a lot of the time when I've gone out there, and I think we do as starters as a whole take pride in that and in starting the game well and putting up zeros and giving those guys a chance to come in and hit, because we have a really good lineup, and I think as often as we can keep them off the field and let them hit, we're going to have success. So yeah, I think every starter kind of takes pride in that, putting up zeros, especially in the innings, like after we score runs, being able to put up a zero and get those guys back in. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is just winning games.
And you guys also have a great rotation. Since June 13th, no team in the National League has a lower team ERA than the New York Mets. You, of course, a big part of that. How close-knit of a group is it? And also, how much do you guys talk shop? And we talked about the fastball and how effective it was for you against Boston. You looked a lot like Sean Manaea, and Sean's been throwing that high heater, and he's had a lot of success with that pitch. So how much you guys talk and compare notes and really just collaborate to all have success?
Yeah, I think it's we've got a really good group of starters. We're always talking the game, always joking around, keeping it light with each other, supporting whoever the guy is pitching that day. And it's been fun to be with those guys, and we've obviously had guys come in and out. But I think it's every time a guy steps in, they're ready to do their job, and it's fun when you have guys like that, and guys are doing well to, okay, so and so went out the night before me, and now it's my turn to follow it up, and so I think we build off of each other's success and continue to try and help the team win every fifth day.
You talked about the fun you guys have. One of the biggest roles of the starting pitching staff, other than preventing runs, which is a big role, is OMG sign duty. Now, it's usually Luis Severino, but he pitches sometimes, of course, every fifth day. And then it's Sean Manaea. But there was one day, I believe it was, what was it, against the Marlins? It was the 17th. It was August 17th. Sevy shutout. I believe Francisco Lindor hit a leadoff home run that day. And cameras watching him circle the bases, pans to the dugout, cuts to the dugout. And there's David Peterson giving I'm going to do my best rendition of it. It was something that looked like might have just happened in the moment. Can you talk about you being on sign duty that day and how you guys divvy up who is going to be on OMG sign duty on a given day?
Yeah, it was funny that day because Sevy was obviously pitching, and Sean usually does it. And I think he had thrown the day before, so he might have been getting treatment or something. And someone was like, "Where's the sign?" I'm like, I don't know. Where's Sean? Like, we're looking for Sean. We're looking for the sign. So I ran inside when we came off the field on defense, and like right as I walked up the tunnel with the sign, the next pitch, Lindor hit the home run, and so I was pretty pumped that we caught it in time, and we were able to have the sign in the dugout. So yeah, it was just it was a fun moment to be able to have the sign and dance a little bit, and that was a special day to see Lindor do what he did, and the rest of the guys, and obviously Sevy's performance was unbelievable.
So that start was Sevy throws a complete game shutout. Then 2 nights later you go out versus the Orioles and you pitch an absolute gem. You talked about before, but you guys all talking to each other. Is there also like friendly competition where like Sevy goes out, shoves? Do you feel like, all right, like I want to pick it up and keep going, and I want to almost outperform him?
Yeah, I think it's there is some of that. I don't think we necessarily talk about it in that way, but I think someone has a good start and you want to follow it up with another one, and you want to keep the ball rolling. You don't want to be that guy that that has a stinker. It's obviously going to happen. Baseball's baseball, and the game is going to unfold the way that it does. But I think we definitely do take pride in, okay, the guy before me did a great job. Let me follow that up with another one and keep this going and just continue to pass the baton.
Now, one more thing from that Sevy start. We saw Carlos Mendoza go to take him out, and Sevy argued his way out of it. We've seen that from a few pitchers this year. What's it like having a guy like Carlos Mendoza where all the pitchers feel comfortable enough and he feels comfortable enough letting you guys have that conversation and let you kind of earn your spot to stay in the game?
Yeah, I think it's been great. I think we heard it from the fans when he went out there that Sevy was not coming out of that game, whether he talked him out of it or the fans did. But no, I think that's one thing with Mendy that's been awesome from the beginning is we've had an open line of communication. We've been able to talk about stuff throughout the year in terms of how the game goes and where we're at pitch wise and inning wise, and so yeah, I think it's just to be able to have that back and forth with him and to be able to talk through some of the things that we go through has been special, and so I think it's good when it's definitely a good feeling as a starter when you have your manager come out and he's like, all right, you want this guy or what? It's. So yeah, I think it was awesome that he obviously let Sevy finish that, but just his communication with us, I think it's been good.
That was a special day. There's been so many special moments with you on the mound, with you in the dugout, and just the whole season, the whole team. What are some of David Peterson's favorite moments so far in 2024? Give us like 3.
Man, Sevy's shutout is definitely up there. To watch him do that, just with some of the stuff in the past and to be able to see him have the year that he's had and be the guy that he's been for us has been really special. And so I think, we've, as a group, have felt that coming. We necessarily didn't know who it was going to be. I think it could have been any of the guys, but just to watch him go out there and dominate the way he did and the emotion that came out of him, you could see how special it was for him. That one was awesome. I think last week or 2 weeks ago now that having Lindor reach 25-25 for the first time in history as a shortstop, to be able to see a teammate do something for the first time in history is very special. And then...
What about one with you? Your favorite start of the season?
My favorite start of the season? I think there's been a couple where I've been put in a spot, at the end of the series where we need a win and being able to go out there and contribute to a team win to capture a sweep or capture a series, whatever it is, was awesome. So, I think moving up to be on regular rest in Arizona, especially after the way the night unfolded on us the night before, I think that was a big game for us in terms of, okay, how are we going to show up the next day? And I had no doubt that the guys were going to come back hungry and wanted to get a win after the way that game got away from us. So that was a special one to be a part of, just to take that series and move on.
The Kevin Newman double play. So we were in Lehigh Valley, all 3 of us, Vito, myself, and Hunter over here, and we kind of had the game on a laptop, corner of our eye. We see first and third, 1 out, close game, and we didn't know if Mendy was going to come get you, go to the bullpen or not. Camera pans to him. He stays. He's trusting you. I think it was 2 pitches later.
We were interviewing Brandon Sproat, and in the middle of it, we were keeping an eye on the game because we record podcasts right after every series. So we're staring at the game, just trying to see what's happening while talking to Brandon Sproat. And it was just
that was a massive, massive pitch. For me, that's my favorite David Peterson moment of the year so far. It seems like every time you take the ball, it's the latest, biggest game of the season, and you are just up to the task. It's been incredible to watch, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think especially now where we're at in the season, every game is big, so we're going to be in those spots going forward, just fighting for that playoff spot. So, yeah, that was big. I think we had a mound visit right before that, and we just said, okay, we're going to get our double play here. How do we want to do it? And we had talked about throwing the sinker, and we were able to get that double play and get out of it. And I think it just... I was actually looking the other day and came across team stats in terms of double plays and just thinking about the way that our defense is able to turn a ground ball into 2 outs, especially in some of the spots that they've gotten double plays. I think we had the one last night.
Reed Garrett.
With Reed, I think there have been a lot of those defining moments. The one in Sevy's shutout, that was really big. I think it was the 4th or 5th inning, something like that.
Jose Iglesias' dive to second when he was laying on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah, San Diego. Yeah. I mean, it's
the infield defense has been, I was going to say stupendous. That's kind of a lame word, but it's been stupendous.
Yeah, the defense as a whole, I mean, infield, outfield, both catchers work their butts off. And so I think it only gives us as pitchers confidence, to go out there and when we get strikeouts, great. When we don't and they put the ball in play, we know we have 8 guys behind us that are outstanding at their position and willing to do what it takes to get the outs.
Now, you've had the benefit of the last few years of, at different times, being on the same rotation as some future Hall of Famers. Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. Were you able to kind of talk to them and just over the years, learn things from them during your time with them here?
Yeah. Been very fortunate to be around some of those guys. I think in my first 3 years, I played with 8 Cy Youngs or something. And so obviously having Jake here as I came up through the minor leagues and getting into big league spring training and then getting on the roster, he was awesome for me just in terms of a veteran presence and a guy to see how he goes about his business and the way he is a true professional. And then Max and Verlander, obviously spent more time with Max. So, 22 was really good. Just the way that we had a good group in terms of him kind of leading that in terms of talking after starts and being able to bounce ideas off of each other. So, I think just having those guys that are veterans and, like you said, future Hall of Famers, to be able to watch them every 5th day when they take the ball and see how they go about their business has been a really special experience.
No, I looked at your start on Tuesday as something of a full circle moment. You made your major league debut against the Red Sox at Fenway Park. I know it was 2020, so weird circumstances. And when you make that start on Tuesday, career high in strikeouts. When you look back at David Peterson, circle, I think it was August 2020, and who you are today, both as a person and as a pitcher, having spent time with Hall of Famers, having gone down to the minors and come back up, and having had the hip surgery and rebounding from that, and having all the success you've had in 2024, what kind of personal growth do you see?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is trying to take all of those experiences, whether it's the struggles that I had in 21, injuries. I think that was big for me. When I got hurt in 21, I went down to Florida. I had a lot of time to myself and to think about what did I do well in 2020? What was I struggling with in 21 before I got hurt? And then having some of those times, like in 22, where I was pitching well, would get sent down, come back up, go to the bullpen. I think just trying to take everything in stride. I think the goal for me has always been just to contribute any way I can to helping this team win. And so I think the biggest thing is not taking it personal and just continue to go about my work, which is what I learned from some of those veteran guys. Is just whatever happens, I mean, you got to stick to your process and your routines, and good or bad start, continue to do what you do and get yourself ready for the next time you get the ball. So I'm thankful for all the experiences that I've had. Obviously, some of them have been less desirable than I would like, but they all, I think, have added to where I am today.
All right, so we're going to play a game with you before we get you out of here, okay? This game's called Met Likely To. So we're going to ask you a question. You're going to tell us which Met is likely to do so. All right, first on the list, the Met likely to break a TV during football season.
That's a tough one.
Is it you and the Oregon Ducks slip up in the Big Ten?
No, I was we've had some moments, but no, I don't take it that seriously. That's tough. I don't know who we would have. I'm gonna say Drew Smith, just because
Cowboys.
How frustrating
He's a big football
Cowboys
guy.
are.
Yeah. All right. Who is the Met likely to help Jeff McNeil with his plumbing issues?
Oh.
Did anybody offer up advice that day?
I mean, he asked everyone and anyone.
He asked
put it on
Instagram.
No, I mean, he put it out there on Instagram. He put it out to the world for anybody to help him out. I guess
There were a lot of theories going around the internet as to what happened. You don't have to tell us what happened.
No, I can imagine. Once I saw the story, I was like, oh, I wonder what's going to come out of this. So
you guys have just gotten back from Chicago too. It's like he didn't even spend that much time at home.
No, I know. Yeah, we literally just got back. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Pete.
Handyman on the team.
Yeah.
All right. Which Met is most likely to think they're a good singer and you can't say Jose? That's a cheat.
Savvy.
Really?
I could see that. Eccentric personality.
Thinks he's a good singer.
Does he sing a lot in the clubhouse?
Every now and then he'll break out. Sometimes he's asked to, sometimes he doesn't want to, but every now and then he'll start to break out in a song. And yeah, I don't think he'd have the worst voice.
All right, here's another one, football related. Who's the Met likely to maybe skirt the rules in fantasy football? You know, maybe try to stick a quarterback who has some different eligibilities in a tight end role or something that the rest of the league says, I don't know about that one.
We've had some things come up in the past.
Taysom Hill. That's what happens.
We've had some issues.
I knew it.
I'm gonna probably shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna throw it on the commissioner, Dave Racanella. I think him and Lange, they always seem to be up there, and it's funny. We always joke with them about where they end up in the draft order or whatever it is. But
how is the order selected? Is it an open process where everyone gets to see the number out of the hat?
Yeah, it's all random. We pick out of the hat for the pick, and then you
no
pick
combines
again. So
for draft picks.
See
No.
what the Athletics did?
Yeah, I did. I've seen a couple good ones.
Torey Lovello
I
was
saw the
taking
Athletics.
BP.
I saw, Torey Lovello taking BP. I saw the Phillies do their chipping contest. I think someone else did like a fungo competition or whatever. So yeah, there's been some good stuff out there, which I think there's been a few suggestions made in terms of changing it, but it's all been random and yeah, it's good.
A kosher process.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
Just got to give them a little shit.
Met likely to. You're watching a TV show. You mentioned one of the guys in the clubhouse. I just started binging the show.
I'm gonna say Bader. I think it just I think when he's onto something, he gets really excited about it. So I could see a spoiler slip, but yeah.
Who's the Met likely to take that last slice of pizza?
They've already had two, maybe. There's one slice left.
Jeff.
That's why he has the plumbing problems.
Hey.
Damn. I got one more for him.
All
right, you do it, and then I have something else to end the interview with.
Final one for me. Who's the Met likely to be a broadcaster after they retire?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I think we're looking at him.
I don't know.
He's
about
sucking
that.
up to you.
No, I'm not. I mean,
He wants good boy points.
Not likely to be a broadcaster. I think there's we got some personalities on the team. I think there could be some colorful guys on TV. I think Sean Manaea would do a really good job. I think you could throw Pete up there. You could throw Iglesias. I think we got some guys that just Nemo. I mean, I could see him doing it. Some of the baseball knowledge that guys have on this team and the way that we have conversations about the game in the clubhouse. I think there's some guys that could really thrive if they wanted to do that after their career was done.
So you brought up Sean. What's your handshake with Sean? Because
We
we know
really-
he has an extensive library. We've seen the dance.
Yeah, no, he's got. I keep seeing new ones all the time that I didn't catch before. We don't necessarily have a handshake. I think when we're done pitching, or whatever, we kind of just give each other a big bear hug, and it's kind of the way we go about it.
keep it classic. Now, Vito and I, we have a celebration, not a handshake, but a celebration which is verbal after your starts. When you go out and dominate, we have a line now that's become a staple.
It's your line.
It's my line.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
your
like
line.
it. And
I
you know
enjoy it. I
yeah.
set you up for it.
Yeah. So I want you to tell me if you endorse it or if you hate it. We'll never say it again. But it is. When David Peterson's on the mound, it's a bad day to be a worm because all the ground balls you induce. You down, or should we just
That's
put
not bad.
that to bed?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it. There's a little depth to it. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's like after Pete Carroll. It's a bad day to be a piece of bubble gum when Pete Carroll's on the sideline because he was always chomping.
That's true.
So
Trust me, I grew up as a USC fan, so.
did you really?
I did, yeah. Born in LA, and so, I grew up a USC fan, and that was right in Carroll,
Reggie Bush.
Leinart, all those guys. So, I like it.
What other teams did you grow up rooting for?
Grew up early on in life rooting for the Lakers.
Classic.
And then football-wise, I became a Patriots fan. No NFL team in LA.
Seems like you have a trend here,
You like
buddy.
Duke also?
No, I don't. No football team in LA, and I loved Brady, so I kind of attached onto the Patriots.
Are you a TB12 guy?
I read the book. I think there's some good stuff in there. I think he's definitely found what works for him, and there's a lot of substance to his program. But I think there's a lot of good stuff in there that people can learn from.
All right, and you're also a big Colorado Avalanche fan?
I am.
All right, we got some hockey guys coming out, so maybe we'll hook you up. Adam Fox is coming.
We do, yeah. I'm excited to see those guys around. Met some of them last year, and so it's always fun when you have athletes from other sports come in and you get to talk a little bit and just kind of get their perspective on things and see them at such a high level doing what they're doing. It's cool to see and talk to them.
This has been a big week for athletes here. You got Steph Curry here, Carmelo is here.
Yeah.
A bunch of tennis players.
Crazy.
Have you gotten to enjoy the local sports scene? You got the Garden, you got UBS Arena. U.S. Open, Jets and Giants. There's a lot of big time sports in New York, as you know.
Yeah, no, I haven't been to MetLife yet. Need to get out there for a game. Went to a Knicks game this season towards the end. It was a game against Oklahoma City that
that crazy, yeah.
Jalen and SGA were battling back and forth. Love going to the U.S. Open. Been quite a bit since I've been up, and so yeah, it's fun to have the amount of sports teams and the amount of events that we do in the city.
Well, David, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a really fun year. You can follow this podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Meet at the Apple. I'm on Twitter at Vito F. Khaleesi. John at JMB9191. For David, you got to come to Citi Field. You got to root on the Mets because we got a really exciting finish coming up here, guys. Thanks, David.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.